Hey, parents and founders and deal makers and salesperson. Today, in this video, can you imagine if your life finally have worked out? You no longer stress about the issue, you no longer worry about the problem, your life is consistent, your income is consistent, your happiness is consistent. And then you finally, wouldn't it be nice that you finally stop losing deals? And even if you're not losing deals anymore, just like you're not missing out on the best chicken rice because you went for the best curry noodle that you wanted. Even if the curry noodle was not the best, you didn't feel like you lost out on the best chicken rice. Why? Because you can go for what you want in life. Wouldn't that be amazing? That you're no longer worry about losing deals or losing clients because you are actually making choices that you want. Maybe it's the choice to be with your family, with your children, with your loved one, and you're okay to so-called lose the client. You're okay to so-called lose the deals. Why? Because you make the choices of going for the curry noodle because you want to. You are no longer in disagreement with yourself. You are no longer in conflict within yourself. You are in alignment. You are finally able to do and make the choices. It's not about doing just about anything. It's about that peace and that ability to make choices that are in agreement with yourself. Now, at the same time, your sales income, your revenue in the company is consistent. Your life is okay, is peaceful. You're no longer worried about losing deals. Deals are still going to be slipped away from your fingers, but you're okay. At the same time, you finally can reduce the disagreements in life, the conflicts, but most importantly, you finally have the choice of making, you have the options and making the choice of making the decisions that are in agreement with you. Wouldn't that be amazing feeling? All right, very quickly now in this video, my goal is I want to show you how can you also achieve everything I just talked about. How can you have a happy family? How can you have a happy relationship, romance, be a better parent, but also at the same time for those of you who have a business or in the company, all right, or you're in a sales career or you're in a startup, you're just newly started a business. Okay, for those of you, I want to show you how a tutor went from earning $1,000 per month to over hundreds of $1,000 in just under 100 days, right? I'm going to show you at the same time that one moving piece, right, that also helped a fund manager made $29,000 in his first 16 days with the program with me, and how he actually got paid to pitch to a room of hard, hard, hard investors to put money and invest with him. Okay, and then finally I'm going to show you how you can accomplish your dream goals this year. Now, first of all, let's look at who will this work for other than parents, okay, other than business owners. It also work for people who are in sales, in financial services, in real estate, in professional online marketing. Honestly, after doing this for almost 20 years, I think it's around 17 now, I've made it work for everyone. Because growing up, right, I wasn't satisfied that my work was only for a select few. I really want something that can help everyone. So I went out in search of those secrets that can really help everyone rather than just the salespeople, right? I started as a sales agent during my 21 years old, but I really want something that can work for all areas of my life. So what I did was I invested 20 years of my life to go and find those secrets that can help with not just my sales career, but also to try and have a happy family with my mom, with my family as well, right? So if relationships are important for you, then this is especially for you. This will work especially well for you. That's my promise to you. Okay. And if you're in some form of education, like speakers and coaches, education consultants, if you're in the stages of leadership in the corporate world, it for sure it works even more important for you as well, as you're leading a team, as you're educating our potential leaders of tomorrow, right? Before SG70, what I really want to do is to help 1 million families become healthy again and for their children to have a bright future. Why? Because I feel that every children have the potential to become our next generation of leaders. That's right. So um, the truth is that everyone has potential. But if you judge a fish by the ability to climb a tree, everyone is going to be a stupid idiot instead of a genius with potential. So that's what I like to talk about all the time during my events. I always encourage and inspire everyone who comes to the event. You're doing nothing wrong. You're not broken, right? You're just misdirected, misunderstood, undervalued, and not appreciated simply by being in the wrong field of work, in the wrong choice of partners, because the measurements and the expectations are not in your favor. So if you're a fish, you are trying to, and they measure you by your ability to climb a tree, it's going to be so tough to win the game, isn't it? Wouldn't you agree? Okay, good. So what I'm about to teach you is tested and proven. What I'm about to share with you is learnable and transferable by my with all my events and with all the things work I do, right? And if your prospect, your family members or everyone or your children, they are always defensive, they're always arguing, they are dismissive of your needs, and they are always ignoring the facts that you put in front of them, and they're very selective in their listening. Let me tell you why they're going through all of this. The big problem is this word called the confirmation bias. So what is the confirmation bias? The confirmation bias works like this. If you believe that this video is a waste of your time, even if it's not, but if you believe in the first 8 seconds of this video, okay, or 10 seconds or 20 seconds, but most importantly, even if you believe, even if you don't believe it can work for you and you believe it's a waste of time, if you believe that you will never even click on the link, you will never even open up the link, you will never even continue watching past the 8 seconds mark. It has nothing to do with I have value or not. It has nothing to do with what I produce. It has nothing to do with what is covered in the last 8 minutes. That's the confirmation bias. Because your belief decides your decisions, your choices, and your options. If you believe I'm a negative person, I'm an evil person, I'm a bad guy, nothing I can ever do in the last 8 minutes can ever change that, because you wouldn't even click on the link itself. You would not understood and appreciate or understand my mission of wanting to help 1 million families. You wouldn't even want to try, because your belief shuts the door of opening up this video until now, right? So if you're still watching this, high five yourself and say, I believe in myself, right? Good. Okay, belief is such a powerful thing, right? And the confirmation bias, they seek to protect you, your prospects themselves as well. Okay, so Now, so that's the confirmation bias. Now let's look at some examples of confirmation bias at work and how you can use it for your family. Okay. So let's say the belief is my family is happy and strong. Okay. Now, in order for this belief and confirmation bias to put at work, okay, how do you actually kind of have this belief is during family dinners? How does it show up? Does it have celebration? Does it have daily rituals? Does it talk about shared dreams? Is all the family members in one dream together? Okay. Is the family dinners always about celebration? Is always about happiness? Correct? And is it does the family always support each other during tough times? Does the family always have celebrations of milestones, rituals of simple hugs and simple kisses? How so the belief itself is like the outcome of all of these underlying currents of the ocean, right? What you see on the ocean is just a wave, but underneath the ocean has so much currents and ecosystem that actually forms the ocean itself, right? So the belief, can this be negative? Can this be the opposite? Yes, for sure, right? So if it's the opposite, my family is unhappy and weak. Okay, it's the same thing. If let's say you believe that my family is unhappy and weak, it has everything to do with during family dinners. There was no celebration, there's no rituals, and there's no shared dreams. Everyone is in their own path of direction. So it forms the belief, and once that belief is formed, no one ever wants to hang out during family dinners, isn't it? Like if you think about it, let's say you are going to a gathering of a family, and then you're like, ah man, your belief is that okay, the dinner is going to be not satisfying, not rewarding, not beneficial, not happy. You got no one to talk to. You're always going to be isolated, sit down there, do nothing, right? Then you feel like it's a waste of time. So your belief system determines how the event is going to be. Why? Because guess what happens when you go to those events, right? Yeah, you will look for clues. You will look for things that shows up in the life that actually supports that belief system. So in Chinese, there's this phrase, 相信就是力量. There's power in belief. That means that when you believe something works for you, it works because the brain will look for evidence, will look for ways for it to actually work for you. You will look for ways and look for clues and look for evidence and look for path and look for opportunities for you. Okay? So that's the power of belief. It's very, very, very important. So how do you build that belief system if you want a happy marriage, happy family, and happy romance and happy life, right? Okay, this is one of those examples. Okay, what are the things that support your belief system during those process? So if you want to have a belief system of you're happy, your family is happy, okay, let's review let's recap this example. Okay, now in this video I want to cover a lot about a happy family, so I know that my work can help you in your life. Okay, now can this work for can this actually, right, help you immediately in the next dinner that you have in the next 24 hours? Can you start to make some changes? If your family is not happy and not strong, can you make some changes? Can you make some changes during your family dinners? Right? Can you make some changes to celebrate more often? Right? Can you make some changes to speak about shared dreams more? Okay? Can you offer more support during tough times for your family members? Now, if you're a parent with a new child, is now and today is a great opportunity to start. Wouldn't you think so? To start to build those rituals and celebrations and talk about the shared dreams and having a great family dinner. If you're already having a child that's already up in their teenagers, you might feel that, oh my god, this is so difficult. Yeah, your belief system is stopping you. Your belief system is saying it's difficult. That's why the underneath things is telling you that all the experiences you have had all this while is telling you that it's difficult. Okay, now if you tell yourself that it's easy, and then now your brain will start to look at ways to help you make it easy. And this is a cheat sheet, right? I'm gifting it to you to tell you at your family dinners, can you celebrate something, right? You don't try to go for a big overwhelming celebration that scares everyone, right? As you're making a new change, you can do something small, right? Something small, start to introduce 1% of a time and things like that. Okay. um I want to show you, and I want to share with you my own story, because after I have my own roller coasters up and down, right? And unfortunately, my family members do not understand a single thing I just taught you in the last 20 minutes of my life. And I've also, when I actually, the one blessing I have during my, after I got scammed with a lot of money and I lost a lot of money to investment, and I owe a huge debt, and I was so down and under. I basically have my own belief system destroyed. I wasn't able to come out to teach again. I was so shameful of showing up. I was so guilty, in my attempts of trying to provide for the family. I took too much risk. I got too greedy. I got too ignorant. I got too arrogant. I destroyed the relationship, and I destroyed the support given to me by so many people, you know. People who trusted me with their dreams, their future, and I disappointed them. So and during those times, when I have to rebuild, the first thing that I wanted to rebuild this time round was with my family members, especially starting with my mom, because we have a broken relationship as well. None of these smiling pictures was what I remember at all, because the family was in such turmoil, was in so much arguments. My memories have no smilings at all until I found these pictures. And that's where I realized that I want to start rebuilding with what I just taught you. So in the same work that I do, right, I have to start to have small micro celebration with my own mom. I have to have some small little rituals with my own mom as well. I started to celebrate her more often. I started to ask her life more often. I started to share my dreams with her more often. She's still telling me, things like, we don't need to get rich, just be comfortable, just pay off your debts, I'll support you, things like that. Those support in tough times that we never had in the past. That was because in the past we were always quarreling, no matter what. And I couldn't get the support from her at all, you know. So in my toughest and darkest, when everyone have left me, she stood by me. She never gave up on me. When I moved out, she's always saying that she kept the room always empty and clean, even though I'm not around anymore. And she's always saying that I'm always waiting for you to come back, So when I finally came back, in the beginning, because of my downfall, we were still quarreling for a little while. But she never gave up on me. Those support in tough times that she gave me and she provided, should protect it. So I needed to rebuild my own family, right? I needed to rebuild the relationship with my mom. So when I came back, and I moved back in with my mom to take care of her, I told myself that my life cannot be earning money anymore. In the first 20 years of my life, my only obsession was learning how to make money. And when I came back, I realized and I told myself that it can't be just about money anymore. It has to be. It has to. My downfall has to mean something. It has to be worth something. And my first mission was to rebuild my relationship with my mom. And I started to implement what I just taught you, what I just covered with you as well. You know, in celebrations, I celebrate whether is she winning in mahjong, she losing mahjong, I celebrate her fun, bit by bit, every day, 1% at a time. It wasn't easy at the beginning because I changed so much from a very strong, decisive man, from a very strong standpoint, from a very right or wrong, no gray kind of guy. Um, and in the beginning, all of them, including my own Titi, he couldn't he couldn't really, all of them is just very shocked, of course, right? Now, so I'm sharing this story with you for two reasons. One, I know it's not going to be easy if you are already facing a problem. Two is that 1% at a time, all right? Slowly, bit by bit, 1% at a time, rebuild the happy family. Because at the end of the day, what is all the money in the world going to provide to you if you don't have a happy family behind you? Who is going to be there with you when you drop and fall, and who is going to be there with you when you're above and beyond? If without your family there with you, then what would all those riches mean for you? Wouldn't you agree? And when you fall, if you do not have your family supporting you, who else will back you up? So in my own downfall, my destiny now is to help people to rebuild, to prevent for their own, so that they can rebuild their rebirth, their own revival. So that's my story. Right, thanks for listening for the story. I appreciate you. Now, so I want to encourage you in that story, right? 1% at a time. Okay? My build build the belief for your family. If you're watching this, you are already ahead of them. And you need to take up the responsibility to take over on how to start adjusting for your family to be strong, to be happy. Start in the next dinner, small little thing at a time, baby steps. All right, don't go for too big, don't scare them off. Okay, provide them support in tough times. Okay, provide them the support. You know how a mother, if you're a mother listening to this, right? You know how your child, when they are sick, you have to give them the needle, you have to give them the medication, no matter how much they hate you at that point of time, you don't care because you have so much love for them, you have to care for them. That is what you want to do to provide a support in tough times. Okay, so that being said, right, now I want to talk to the rest of you who are potentially people who are in business, who needs to deal with selling of a product, marketing a product, closing a client, or making a deal. Okay, now in the same context of a business, in the same context of a company's marketing and a product, a service, or a salesperson trying to close a deal, or deal makers trying to construct or sell and create a deal. Okay, there is also the same thing underlying going on, where people might think that your fees are too expensive or the product is too expensive. Now, why would they say that? This also built by the references of the tables, the legs of the tables. Okay, it could be that they saw something cheaper. So if they can get something cheaper, they wouldn't want to they wouldn't want to pay extra for it, right? Now, for other group of people, maybe it's because they also saw something cheaper, plus they paid before and it didn't work out for them. So it's a protection mechanism to stop them, right? God forbid the amount of failed mentorship program I have invested in. Right? So um, I've paid for programs that didn't work out, and for sure that it will happen to many, it has many happened to not just me alone as well, right? So the third leg is that they could be thinking, well, I'm not sure if the results are worth the price. Okay, now with that being said, right, I want to give you an example of this kind of three things. So the other day, I was going for a sound bath. Now, for those of you who don't know what is a sound bath is where you sit there, lie down there, and then there's musical instruments to uh, cleanse your vibration, to realign your vibration, okay, to clean out the aura, to rebuild your nervous system. Okay, now I went for this sound bath. It was $190, 190, and for how long? For only an hour, or was it 90 minutes? Even if it's 90 minutes, right? So maybe it's between an hour to 90 minutes ish. Okay. Now, so that's expensive, right? To be honest, I mean the average worker is only paid $8 to $12 an hour. This was like 100 times an hour. Okay. Now, why did I went for it? Okay, let's look back at the example. Number one, saw something cheaper. Okay, um, will there be something cheaper? The answer is yes, right? But I didn't see something cheaper, right? At that point of time. Okay, now I want to talk about the other two instead. Number one is I paid before and it didn't work out. Now the truth is, I didn't pay before and it worked out. Right, so I didn't have the belief that it's still expensive, mind you, right? I still feel that it's expensive. And when I went for the sound bath at that point of time, to be honest, it took almost everything I have. 190 was almost everything I have, but I still went for it. Why? Because it has worked out for me before. Okay, now, and why did I still go for it? Because I'm 50% sure or 80% potentially sure, confident that the results are going to be worth the price. And most importantly was that the person who is behind it actually shared a story with me that without that story, I would have said the same thing. I'm not sure if the result with you would be worth the price. Even if I had this gong bath happened to me before and it worked out. Okay, so the example of this, right? So it's so expensive, right? It honestly is like, my God. Now, and then after the session, I started asking her and talking to her about it, and she started telling me, the this gong setup in the room alone that you see here, some of them cost $5,000 each. This whole room is at least around $20,000 to $50,000, and that's just the gong. Minusing, if you include all the equipments around the area that you don't see in the pictures, in this whole room, right, is almost $50 to $100,000. Okay, now and then I paid only $190 in order to be healed in a room of $100,000 equipment. Okay, now do you see the shifts? I no longer feel that it was expensive anymore. Make sense? Good. Right, that's one of that's the example of how this belief system can be shifted if you understood how to actually adjust it on the legs level, right? So when people say it's too expensive, instead of defending, saying that, oh, it's not expensive, things like that, what you want to do is having the skills to actually do the sharing or do the presenting or do the um, um, qualification to find out what are the legs of your prospects that are supporting that belief structure. Okay, so if that sounds like something you want to learn, the skill set and more on this, you enjoy what you learned so far, right? Then I want to introduce you to consider and be a part of my selling system that's already generated over 10 million in combined sales revenue since 2011. Now listen to what Saiful have to say.
Hi everyone, this is Saiful Rizal, the founder of Math Prodigies. I just got off a call with Jason Lim, and I must tell you how valuable his time really is. He gave me one simple advice, just one small tip that allowed me to double the number of people that came to my workshop, and then after that, of course, it created even more sales for me, amounting to roughly $15,000. What he has structured for me, he has critiqued for me, I think will easily, potentially double or triple my return on investment, and that is something that is very difficult to do.
Now, who else agree that doubling and tripling is quite difficult to do? Agree? Now, so in the next few minutes, in the next 5 minutes, may I have your permission to share with you about the program that I have, so that I can potentially help you turn your business around and maybe your sales career, so you can hit your dream goals this year? Great. Okay. So let me show you here. At the top, you will see this is the total combined sales revenue that have been produced by the graduates as I show you the results. Okay. So very quickly, this guy closed $21,000 for the trip of November. This boy, very young little boy, closed $20,000 in with his first deal. See that? Okay, so that's he called me. He asked for a call at 9 o'clock. We entered the call. By 9:30, he closed $20,000. And I asked him, "Did any of the teachings I gave you help?" He said, "Truly helped me build my confidence and gave me clarity on how to control and navigate the conversation." Remember what I talked about the tables and the legs? So that was what I teach, and most of the time, this is what happens to yourself as well. You yourself would have believed that is supported by bad, old, and unserving and negative experiences. Now, at the same time, it's called blind spots for a reason, because on our own we cannot see our own blind spots. So this graduate worked on adjusting his own belief. Can you imagine if you bring a negative belief from the workplace back to the family and expect everyone to understand that new table that you just built? they don't have the references to your table. Make sense? So it's going to be conflict, it's going to be disagreement, it's going to be argument. Remember my story with my mom, right? Because she have her own table, I have my own table. The two tables, when it comes together, is not one table. It's two tables with different legs, never coming on the same page. Okay, so this one rebuilt his old belief, broke down the old belief, and then he got onto the additional income. Okay, so the money is has the sales, the income, the revenue, everything becomes part of that new belief system. A new belief system is how you get to your billions, because you can't get to $1 million a year if your tabletop is supported by references that makes only $10,000 a year, right? So there are so many different references that's going on in your life that you don't know about. So you need a new tabletop, a new belief system. And how do you do that? You do that by coaching, you do that by entering mentoring programs, you do that by reinstalling and rebuilding the legs to reform the new belief system. Okay, now, so I asked another graduate, Sean. Okay, he said, managed to reconnect another long lost client, preparing quotation now, potentially $11,000 on the line. Okay, and I asked, is this on top of the $20,000 sales you already closed? He said, yep, this is the fourth one. Didn't get the third job. That's fine. He already made 20,000. Another 11 is on the way. Okay, another one, this is a laundry shop business. And this laundry shop business, right? He closed a $50,000. And this is a per year kind of sales. And in last check, the client is still paying him. Every year, they pay him on average 50 or more. Okay. Now, so let's assume that he only get one new extra client per month for only 10 months. He would have made an extra $500,000. And let's assume, right, he never closed any more clients in the next 6 years. Now that in total, he would have made an extra 3 million in 6 years. Now I don't know about you, but 3 million in 6 years sounds pretty amazing. Wouldn't you agree? Okay, so let's recap right now. Just on these 5 graduates alone, we are seeing a result of over $3.5 million. Now the question to you is that, would you like to have a piece of this 3.5 million by learning how to rebuild a new table, readjust the table legs, and then learn a skill to do that with your prospect, with your key stakeholders, at the same time taking the same skill, helping you to build a happy family? How would you like that, to have more money and more meaning and more happiness in your life? Right, now let's continue. So this one is a tuition center making 5,000 in one day. Okay, 5 figures, sorry, 5 figures, not 5,000. This one is Stanley Tan, a fund manager. I thought he closed 30 clients, but he closed 45. Isn't that amazing? Now, that being said, right, $29,000 per event, that was the amount that he made during his first 16 days with me. Now let's forecast this. If he have ran 8 events, he would have made an extra $250,000. If he raised another 2 million per event, he would have a total asset under management of $16 million. And as fund managers, they earn a fee on top of the AUM. He would have made an extra $300,000 per year as well. So that's a total of $500,000 per year. And if you stretch it out for the next 5 years, that's an extra of 2.5 million. Wouldn't you agree? That's amazing, wouldn't you think so? Okay. Now, this is a photographer that closed an $5,000 package with $4,000 deposit paid. Now, you can start to see that the numbers are so astronomical. It's not needle moving anymore. But do you remember the first time, like Jiahao, closing your first $1,000 deal? Do you remember the passion, the love, the excitement over it? Do you remember how it feels when you close your first $1,000 deal, your first 10,000, and your first 100,000? Maybe it's your first million. That feeling, right? Because at the end of the day, why are you in the business you are in? There must be that passion that you started off in the first place. And if there's no passion, and if it's just for the money, then possibly and probably it's time to change your business. Wouldn't you agree? Because without passion, without waking up to live a purposeful life, to sell more products to the people you love, selling the products that you love, then what is keeping you alive is going to be your family. And if your family is also not happy, your business is also troubling, then it's time to make a change. Wouldn't you agree? Okay? So it's like that first love, is like that first feeling, like Jiahao, like that, closing your first 2,000, your 10,000, right? I want to reignite that love for you, reignite that passion for you to be able to close deals again, to rebuild a happy family again, right? And when you do that, when you have a happy family, you can close deals. You see this? A largest amount in 1 month from any student. And you might be thinking, right, all of these are successful students. They are very talented. They are already very achievers. But that's not true. This is just a 29-year-old kid who closed his first $20,000 month in the first 54 days with me. Okay? And this is one of the first graduate that I ever had. And before he came to me, right, the banks were already going after his furnitures that I don't know about. Now, he has 5 children. He has 4 elderly, 2 from the wife, 2 of his own, and he has a newborn. So my program needed to work for him, and I'm glad it did. Look at this, my $2,000 deal turned into $2 million opportunity over a website pitch. I still cannot believe it. It was such a mind-blowing experience that a pitch had opened doors from my life. And I could never imagine and never thought possible at all. Thanks, Jason. You're welcome. Now, I built all my programs in the basis of this, right? Now, you see, my belief system is very differently structured and referenced. Because of stories like that, my belief system is that I never know if someone in the program could be facing the same situation. And if they are, it has to work for them. It must work for them. With or without me, it has to, it must. And that's how I built my program. And if you enjoy what you have listened so far, if you want to be a part of it and you want to learn from me, if you're lost, you're confused, you're troubled, and you want to rebuild a new belief system, you know that this is the one thing that could change everything for you, right? You want to sell more products, you want to do better marketing, you want to be a better leader, you want to be a better father, a better mother, a better son, then this is it. Okay? So reach out and find out more about the program, and I'll talk to you soon.